Had me walking around with a Crown Royal bag over my face.
Live downtown Detroit.
That's what you should have had.
Well, you want to let us know?
There you go.
Na. No bullshit! Ooh. Mike, are we rolling?
Just breaking this.
This isn't pre-roll?
No more bullshit.
I mean, we're on the air? Why didn't you tell us, dude? Mark goes for one lousy vacation in Disneyland World.
No more Disney for you, Mark.
And all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, we'll keep this truncated. I want to welcome in the Deuce, cool. Vinny Guns over there. Mike number 2, who's sitting in for Mark. And that's Matt. That's Bernie's kid over there. That's the guy you should call at 734-245-4100. XG Services Group. That's the guy. What do you do over there, bro?
A little bit of everything.
Get in the mic and hurry up. Do your own commercial.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, hurry up.
Yep, we do network security, camera systems, anything you need, custom fit to your needs for the price you need it at, pretty much. Anything with technology in your business.
Really?
Yeah, anything.
And you do you do the drive-through sandwich boards, the cameras, right?
Yep, for sure.
You're fucked.
Drive-through order confirmation boards. I mean, pretty much anything you could use in your quick serve restaurant.
McDonald's taking his shit, so's Burger King. What are you going to do now?
Well,
fill in the blank.
Focus on Starbucks, I guess.
Let me say, that was very good.
Yeah.
I mean, for him, because I know you're young, but most of the time you ask people what do they do and they stutter and he jumped right in, answered the question.
He knows what he's doing.
I know, but that's great though for him to have that level of comprehension and ability to communicate it.
He's got a new.
You
got a new
deserve
bag
a raise.
too.
Tell your dad you need a raise.
He got a new bag, like the railroad crossings. They set up the cameras and the triggers and the web.
And not until we start talking to them that I realized there were cameras in the menus in your drive-through. So now every time I'm going through Starbucks, I'm smiling so they'll think I'm nice.
Not anymore at McDonald's because there's nobody to throw hot coffee on when they fuck up your order.
Nope, you're right.
Anyway, look, happy Easter Monday, everybody. We want to bring you something positive because, everything seems so negative. So we wanted to go positive. Want to bring some uplift. So we're accused of being negative. We are, but we know beautiful people. Pastor Barry from the Church of the Messiah on the east side here, a man who actually really does things, but is a counterweight as we speak. 6 dead and 6 injured in a Louisville, Kentucky bank. It's another one, right? So my thoughts on that were not thoughts and prayers. My thought is how it works. We have a mass shooting, then we have a media circus, then we have thoughts and prayers, then the politicians trot out there and have thoughts and prayers, and then all kinds of ideas. We need to do something. There's a gun debate between them. Then there's a gun debate online. Nothing changes. We wait for the next one. Then we wash, we rinse, we repeat, and we wait.
And don't forget the memorial. You got to inject that in there.
That's where you'll find the politicians.
Yep, exactly.
So, I've been working all week. I'm making you a promise. This is Michigan. We have Oxford. We have Lansing. I'm on that. You're going to be surprised what I'm finding. I'm going to give it to you in real time. Let me finish with what I found. It never had to happen. It did not have to happen. It's kind of outrageous. And I'll give you this clue. It's just like any big county, Wayne County, Ingham County. It doesn't happen in L.A. County. It doesn't happen in Manhattan County. But they're just waving people through. Just waving them through. What can we do?
Assembly line of justice.
Yeah.
But people are, and I don't want to use the term lazy. I will say overburdened, but that's what you sign up to do. And just to push it through because it's the easier option is a disservice to the people that you serve. It doesn't. You're not serving your position.
It is that. It's more than that. It's like, what are we funding here?
Yeah,
Where's the money? What are we doing? Okay, we're giving $1 billion to a Chinese battery company. What Kim Worthy's been on this show. You know how clogged Wayne County courts are? They're 3 years behind.
Wow.
3.
Yeah.
They're just waving it through.
Yeah,
There are laws.
well, they never recovered from the pandemic. That slowed the court
It was
system
fucked up
down.
before the
And they
pandemic.
were-
Yeah, it
that's
was.
right. It was fucked up before
That
the
became the
pandemic.
scapegoat.
And it's getting so bad. I don't know if y'all recall the incident with the 3 murder suspects in Florida. The sheriff caught heat because he posted their pictures. And he went on TV and said, look, y'all keep hollering about gun laws. He made a controversial statement, but we got the laws. They're not being enforced on the other levels.
Talking point. That's true. We got some issues, right? Just we're armed to the teeth, and MSU's different because in the case of MSU, the gunman was known to law enforcement. The gunman was convicted of a gun charge, and yet he's still able to pick up weapons. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That this case is so noxious and yet so interesting, and we just moved right on by.
And Charlie, at what point, because you've got your defense and your prosecution sides of an issue or a law, like at what point does a person, they're not defending the person's rights, but they're actually looking to navigate to let somebody that's obviously guilty off? I mean, that's a very gray area to me.
Well, what we have to do, in my opinion, is hold the opinion, get the facts, and like plea bargain page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like former attorney generals. Like, let's get set what we know here, because it was, again, the mass shooting, the media circus, the vigil, the debate, and thoughts and prayers, and then a big nothing. So I'm not willing to let it go. We're going to go back and at least do one in our backyard, because I don't know what happened in Louisville. Was he robbing the bank? It turns out it was probably legal guns. It's a guy that used to work at the bank or works at the bank. I don't know how you stop that. But these things are spectacular, made for TV almost, because you see how people react.
Yeah.
How many people were shot and killed in Detroit this weekend?
It's a good question.
How many times those shooters came into contact with the criminal justice system, had a weapons charge, it disappeared. We didn't do anything to take it away, violate them. You no longer have that right. And if you do it again, then you got to do your time. Why aren't we building minimum security facilities? Minimum, where you go out and you're picking up trash and you now know we're serious, because there's nothing more serious than murder.
And where's the accurate account of shootings here in the city of Detroit? You don't know. You're guessing. I think there were 2 kids that were shot this weekend. I don't know if they were fatalities.
5-year-old and critical.
Yeah, but I know there were at least 2 children that were shot this weekend.
And nobody was out there to shoot the kid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a mass shooting.
Yep. You're
But
right.
we're not discussing it.
No.
This one.
But that goes against the narrative here. And I always say that that's why that's always quiet. It's suppressed because it contradicts what they want you to believe about this city. When we were downstairs waiting, I'm looking outside and I said, even when the city was at a low point, there were people outside. There's nobody out downtown.
But you're saying this like it's normalized
Yes.
for the city. And if we're not careful, I guess the complaint is it's becoming normalized for these big spectacular. I don't even know anybody involved with whom I just killed.
Normalize and desensitize.
Right.
We're just going through the motions.
So there is a debate for background checks. There's a debate for what's the criminal justice system. What are we doing? I'll tell you what. Oh, by the way, we're in the American Coney Island studios. It's safe here. It's clean here. It's yummy here. Come to the city and feel part of the community.
And it's clean.
Yes.
I have to say this, Charlie. When I go places, I look at things. And while we were downstairs, I'm looking around. There's nothing abnormal. The bathrooms are spotless. But there was one telltale that lets you know just how clean it is. The air vents are clean. Now, when you go into a facility.
I did that.
Okay, well, hats off to you, Charlie. You did a great job. But I'm saying that's a big deal because people are cleaning But the air vents, so the air vents are clean.
If you go outside and look at the awnings, those are clean.
The awnings are clean. I'll
Yeah.
look at that
Thank you very
downstairs.
much.
Okay.
If you notice, the sidewalks are swept. Windows are clean.
On a regular
No tiles
basis.
falling off.
But
the
who
wall.
wants to eat someplace where you've got dirty air blowing through the vents? I'm just saying it's little
Exactly.
things like that, and people overlook that. And you can be in some of the nicest places, but if your air vents are dirty, that place is dirty.
You know what I'm doing tomorrow on my
What do you-
shift here?
what?
It's spring now, and there's going to be a transition from the heat to
Right?
you don't need heat, but you don't need aircon. Now it's time to change the filters,
filters,
on the
yep.
HVAC system.
Yep.
There you go, right there. Thank you very much.
See, now that's what everybody should do in every area of responsibility, whether we're talking law enforcement or we're talking judicial system. Do what you're supposed to do. Do the preventative things.
Right.
Do the maintenance
what?
things.
Did you just compare the American Coney Island and Wayne County Courthouse?
Everything.
Nice trick. Nice
Everything.
turn
I
of
think
phrase.
she's saying the Coney Island's running a little
I'm
bit
saying,
better
I'm
than
saying everybody should do what they're supposed to do. Don't kick the can. Don't ignore your responsibility. Be proactive. Take care of things and do what you're supposed to do. That's what I'm
all
saying.
right, all right. We're moving on now.
That
We're moving on. I wanted Karen to meet somebody I really respect in this town. Somebody that's a doer. Somebody on the east side, 48205, which has the moniker 4820 die.
That's not 05.
09.
He's in 07.
He's 07? Look at
Yes.
that. Karen did her work. East side. Where's 40205?
That's West Side.
No, he's in
No.
48205.
No.
Yes, he is.
Let's bet.
Look it up.
Uh-oh.
Let's
Look
bet.
it up.
That is not 05.
Look it up.
Charlie, I'm telling you.
Zip codes
it goes,
of
it goes,
Detroit.
It goes from 14 to 07 to 26.
Where's 09? Look it up. Come on. You're just talking, but you're not doing anything.
I am.
Let's go.
I'm listening.
Look
Go
it
ahead.
up.
Okay, keep
Well,
talking.
why is she looking that up, though? Who was the young man you went to see her to meet?
Well, she's looking it up
Okay.
because she's the one that went to see him. But it's
What's the?
Pastor Barry Randolph at the Church of the Messiah, right at the foot of Belle Isle. This is the spot of the neighborhood where people go to meet, people in need, people need internet, people need housing, young men need someone to talk to, help you find employment. Is it the Taj Mahal? No.
07. Like I said.
He's in 07. Where's 48205?
Okay, Charlie.
Yeah,
I don't
where's
work for the
48
post office, but okay.
48205 and 48209.
It's West Side, but I'm telling you, 48205.
Yeah.
I don't have my glasses on.
No,
I
let
can't
me
see,
see
but
it.
it's.
Let me see it.
I'm telling 48205, Detroit.
Yeah, that would be the east side, Karen. Thank you very much.
No,
Borders 48207. She says no,
No,
it
it's
doesn't.
not.
She puts it
They
down.
don't go-
It's
okay, I
says,
can't see it.
It
I don't
says
have my-
Maross right there. Where's Maross on
See,
the
this
west
should
side?
tell you how serious
That's-
we
but
are
that's-
about
I'm
our
Karen,
facts
just
here
just
on No
just
Bullshit News.
for God's sakes, woman. Sometimes it's just not accurate.
Okay, well, Pastor Barry is in 07, like
Yeah.
I said.
And he's an OG.
Yes,
the
he
original disciple of God.
Yes.
He
Oh,
really
cool.
is,
He is.
right? And you had some time to hang with him.
Yes.
How would you? We're going to hear the piece now,
Okay.
but
But,
what
well,
would you say
Charlie,
about the man?
I'd had the opportunity to meet him prior, but this was the first time I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to him. Heard a lot of good things about him, but he, in my opinion, defies what we've come to expect as religious leaders, especially in this city when we have more than 4,000 churches. He is serious, he's passionate, he's committed, and just all the things that any person that is in that position should be, and he's doing. He's focusing on changing lives, not dishing out promises.
Does not enrich himself.
He does not enrich himself. My column not this week, but next week is about him. And I have to tell you, no Mercedes, no diamonds. He's missing a tooth.
No suit.
No suit. I mean, he
A
is
hole in the roof.
He's a hole in the roof. I mean, but he talked about how Jesus didn't mingle with the elite. He met and dealt with the least of thee. And you just have to hear him speak.
I think we're going to do that now.
All right.
This is one of the real people offering real solutions, which is giving of yourself.
That's true.
And thanks for doing this, and happy Easter.
Pastor Barry Randolph, we are in one of approximately 4,000 churches in the city of Detroit, and if not the only, one of very few who are actually doing something to address the problems that continue to feel like they're on a loop in the city of Detroit: housing, unemployment, crime, undereducation, and just overall dismayed with who we are and where we are as a city. So thank you for your time. But let me ask you this, because we had a conversation once and you said nobody ever asked you this. How are you doing?
Nobody ever asked us. Thank you, Karen. I am good. I am fine. I'm overwhelmed. Tired, not in a bad way, but tired of this loop. Tired of talk. Tired of people talking about issues and not being able to do something about it. Ready to move and ready to see action. But I don't want to just sit and wait for somebody to come save us. I believe the city of Detroit actually has everything it is that it needs. We got some of the most incredible people in this city. We just need to be activated to do the work that we need to do with no obstacles in the way.
So let's talk about what makes you different. You don't drive a Maybach.
Nope.
You don't have any jewelry. You're not in a suit.
Nope.
You got on gym shoes. And other than the University of Michigan cap.
I'll have Michigan State.
We're going to get you a Michigan State cap.
Yeah.
But what makes you different that shape the things that you're doing? Because you're addressing housing. You bring in young people as they are.
Yes.
You are, you talked about being at a meeting the other day on homelessness when they would not let homeless people that you had speak, and you got up and walked out of the meeting.
Yeah.
So who is Pastor Barry Randolph? What makes you who you are?
So let me say this. I never wanted to be a preacher. That was not my thing. I always believed that God existed. Church was not my thing. Being a preacher was not my thing. When I was called to do this, God literally had to call me. I had a burning bush experience. And he told me, go get my young people. And he told me to do church differently. I didn't come to play church. I didn't come to play with people's lives. I came to make a difference. And when I die, I want to be able to say I've done the best job I possibly can with making a difference. The church don't pay me. This is not a job. This is a call. I am called to make a difference in my community. I am called to make a difference with the people who come here. And the young people, they don't reject God. They just don't like church. And I just don't understand why church just can't change the way that it do things. We always say this. We always get people stop and say, yes, we want the young people. We want the young people. But if they walk in and they smell like weed, if they walk in and the hat is backwards, if they walk in and the pants are sagging, we immediately would stop them at the door. We would say we would let them in, but would we really? And then if we were nice enough to allow them to come in, how would we look at them when they came in? Would we see a child of God? Would we see a human being? We profess that, but do we believe that? Would we show that? And I think that is the most important thing.
You live in the city of Detroit.
I live upstairs from here. I live in this building. I left my house. I left my job. I was so committed to this. God literally told me, do you have more faith than fear? Yes. And I'm like, Lord, because I couldn't do my job and do this full time. And this meant so much to me, and he knew that. And I'm like, Lord, this job is in my way. And he said, quit your job, move into the building, and do my work full time. And I said, Lord, if this don't work, I'm going to be unemployed, homeless, and churchless. This is not going to turn out good. He said, do it anyway. Have more faith. The people in this community and in this church saw that. They was like, this fool now moved in the church, quit his job, did this thing. And someone was like, we got to back him up because he's stupid. And it reminds me of a gospel reading that we were doing a couple weeks ago when Jesus was going back to Bethany. He was going back, and he was going back because his friend Lazarus was dead. He was going back to see his family. And then the disciples said, wait a minute, Lord, why are you going back there? Those people just tried to kill you. Why are you going back? If you go back, you go die. And then Thomas looked at the rest of the disciples and said, let's go die with him. Because he's foolish. He's going out there, and so we go die with him. And that's what some people in this community did. If that man is foolish enough to do that, and you got to remember the church was in disrepair then. We had no money. We had no members. And we were scheduled to close in 18 months. And when people stopped and they saw that degree of commitment, I'm like, come hell, high water, I'm going to do this. And they made some people stop and say, if you dumb enough to do this, we're going to do it with you. That's the Detroit I'm talking about. That's the Detroit. It's almost like we're not going to run from these things. We're going to stand anyway. And that is the true Detroit that don't get the credit. That's bigger than the Dan Gilberts. That's bigger than the Illages. That's bigger than all of these people coming with these grandstands. If it wasn't for Grandma Jenkins on the corner doing her thing and that block club that was, there would be no Detroit for them to celebrate. That's true Detroit. And those are the ones we need to be celebrating, and those are the heroes, and that's why I do what it is that I do. I owe them, and I owe the people who put this church together, who said we go build the houses, we go do this thing, and to the then members of the church, I'm like, what? So we just go lay down and die? We done been through all of this? We done been through the 67 riots, and we done started, oh, hell no, this ain't gonna happen. God didn't. The same spirit that raised him from the dead is on the inside of us. And it's got to be, sometimes you got to be the sacrificial fool, but that's the privilege. Somebody's got to be able to do it. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing that part. So at least when I died and what it was I preached, I believed it for real.
Let's talk about the building just for a second, because one of your supporters said Pastor Berry takes every dime, every dollar that he gets, and he invests it into the people in the community. And as a result, you've got some things kind of leaking through the roof, and that's put you. So I want to talk about that because at some point, the community needs to rally behind you and make sure that that is addressed so you can continue to work from and not necessarily out of the building.
Well, yeah, we spend so much time on the community on the outside. We do have to look out for the building. We do have to look out for the inside of this building, because inside of this building, this is where our housing corporation is, our doctor's office, where we provide the internet service, our commercial kitchen, where we do employment and workforce development. So we do use the building. And our roof is leaking. And what a lot of people don't know, they hear things like, oh, you're about to rehab a building down the street, or you have rehabbed over 200 units of affordable housing. How come you can't fix your own roof? What people don't know is Church of the Messiah created Church of the Messiah Housing Corporation to literally be a housing corporation to provide affordable housing for the community and neighborhood. So it's not like you pay your rent and the money comes to the church. No, it goes back into Church of the Messiah Housing Corporation to maintain, manage the building, pay the insurance, pay mortgages if that's necessary, to hire people to do the management. And so then therefore every dime goes back into that. So it's not like it comes into the church. The money that comes to the church is mostly the tithes and offering. And what a lot of people don't know, me and the assistant pastor here, we don't get paid for this. But our church is not a rich congregation. We're rich in spirit, but we're not this big mega church. I hope the roof don't fall while we're talking, but I pray to God that don't happen. But yeah, that is something that we have got to do, and we do need the building, even though we spend more time outside the building. We do need this building, and this church it's 121 years old, so it's an old building.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely, the woodwork, everything in here is beautiful. Well, for nothing else, I'm glad you're not telling me, give me your money, give me the money that you want to go to God, and I'll ask God to bless you with the money that you've given to me. So thank you for not pretending to be a fiduciary for God.
Yes.
And I'm glad to have a conversation with a person that doesn't remind me of a rapper. If there's one thing that you would say, you certainly know the things that are going on. You've talked about gentrification. A lot of times people in the city of Detroit feel left out of the equation of the new Detroit. We're still wrestling with illiteracy, gun violence, unemployment.
Yes.
If there's one thing that you would say to people who are listening to this that you think would actually either not necessarily make them feel better, but see things differently and move in a different direction, helping to change the trajectory for everybody and not just one group of people, what would it be?
It would be hold on. Hold on, don't let go. A lot of people in the city of Detroit are heroes. I remember in the documentary that we're in called The United States of Detroit, I had said, I get in trouble for the stuff that I say. Jesus got in trouble too. With everybody, because it's almost like, well, Pastor Berry, that was kind of controversial. And I'm thinking to myself, how is justice controversial? How is doing the right thing controversial? But it is. And I had said, for the people in Detroit, the cowards have left and the tough people stayed. And they're making it happen in the city of Detroit. Stay here. Keep it going. Make it happen. We tougher than it is that we know. And a lot of the cowards, in my opinion, really did left. I understand why people leave the city with all of the issues it is, but there's a lot of people who are here, not because they were left behind, because they love this city, and they choose to be here, and they've stuck it out, and they've been through the bankruptcy and the hard times and the turmoil and the violence and the white fight, and they still decided to stay here. Those are the people. That's the true Detroit. The true Detroit is the Detroit that looked at the good, the bad, the ugly, the hell, the high water, the bankruptcy, gentrification, poverty, gun violence, and stop and say, I'm still going to be here because I love this city and I'm going to stand up for the people that's here. That is true Detroit. That's the Detroit that's staying. That's the Detroit that's making all of this happen. And if that Detroit wasn't here, no other new Detroit could ever be here. So that's true Detroit.
Well,
I'm going to just say this. With all this money Duggan is spreading around, I think this is one of the first places he should be looking. They already doing the work.
But you know what? That won't happen because he's not buying into what you have to buy into in order to get those dollars. And that's what I respect about him.
well, the government shouldn't be a piece of the church anyway. Absolutely should not. So, I mean, if there's grants, we should help them look for them, right? Get that roof fixed. If there's some money to be raised, we'll help them do it. But I'm completely 100% an American. There's got to be a separation of the church and state before the state starts buying the church. That's the spirit of the church. That's the spirit of the holiday.
It is. Very much so. And the spirit of Detroit, Charlie. I mean, if you could have heard the entire interview, I mean, his conversation is so revealing. On so many levels, it was quite moving. I was privileged and honored to be able to talk to him. So thank you for having me do that because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You're welcome. And next time, I'd like to see you guys looking around Detroit. That's both of your side of town. I'd like some pictures.
All right, Charlie. It was storming that day. We were in there. We had
I don't care.
Well, I do because I
don't
couldn't be
care.
out in the rain.
Karen, I sat out in the rain in front of a
Well,
heap of trash.
You have you do that. Your hair can
Waiting
stand
on
out.
my FEMA check that never came.
Your hair can stand being out in the rain. Mine couldn't. But yeah, I'd like to do that. I would really like to be able to do the next half of that story, Charlie, and see, about because he's got the solar
Seeing's
panels.
believing.
They grow food, the housing. He talked about the acquisition of a property close by because of the proximity to the church, and just many things.
He does. The reason his match is to Louisville and whatnot is what he's mostly involved in is stopping gun violence.
Right.
I mean, he's doing a parade and a march every summer. It's 10,000 deep. You know what I mean? All on his own. No Duggan, no bullshit.
And people come from all over the nation for that.
Yeah, and the politicians come to be seen on it. But
photo op,
there ain't no help like that.
But he is doing the things outside of the march, Charlie and Red. I mean, you talk about those wraparound things that draw people from out of situations that would result in gun violence or something else. I mean, when he talked about letting the young people in the church, he says people say, oh yeah, you can come to our church, but you got to take your hat off. You can't wear jeans. You can't smell like weed. He said, Karen, sometimes the young people come in here and smell like weed so strongly. He said, I get a contact. But those are the people that we're trying to touch. You can't discriminate against the people that you want to engage and that you say you want to help.
Well, our documentary's coming soon, so you'll see the pictures of what he does with young men. Like, where do young men go to work in the city?
Get some guidance.
In the summer.
And clothes and some mentorship.
You see it all.
Yeah.
It's really quite unbelievable.
I do want to ask one question, Karen. How long has he been the pastor of this church and doing this?
What? And you know what? I don't remember.
You should have asked her before the fucking show.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Just pulling some
I don't remember.
dumbass question like that out of the air.
That's not dumb.
Well, that's really revealing
no.
there. I don't know.
I get
Yeah,
beat
about
up on
20
this show
years.
more than
Yes,
Mike
about- yeah, I
Tyson
think
did
so.
by
About 20
Buster
years.
Douglas.
Nice one. And now that you have the answer about 20 years, what curiosity has been fulfilled here?
Well, what took so long for the attention
Yakking
to be
podcast,
brought
yakking
to this
questions.
pastor that's been an example of what the church and the community supposed
For
to
who?
be.
I mean,
I caught you. I caught you on the bullshit.
Charlie's
You were
known,
just talking to talk.
Charlie's known
Just
about
talking
him
to
and
talk.
talked to him over the years.
Talking
Now, if you're
to
asking
talk.
why other people haven't, I mean, I can only guess.
Here's my question. Why don't you get your ass in the church? Did you go to church yesterday?
No, because every time I
If the-
walk by one, I get very hot for some reason.
Yeah, get out. You need some church now. Get in there and go ask him yourself. Get involved.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a church person, but I did tell him I'm going to come. I didn't want to go to Easter because that's when everybody starts going. But I am going to go because I'd like to see, and I think that maybe there's some things that I would like to get involved in.
It's a good time to go. I went to
Yeah.
church. First time since COVID. I went yesterday.
Did
Father
you?
Paul looked good. Yeah, you know what I did? I went late. I stood at the back.
Left early.
I wait for the gospel. I wait for the hymn. I wait for the homily. See ya.
Yeah, that ain't a black church at all. We'd still be in
But
there at
that's the other
3:30
thing.
waiting on dinner.
But that's the other thing. His service is 1 hour.
Okay.
It's
And-
45 minutes.
Well, he said an hour. So
It's
okay,
45 minutes. I've
Okay,
been there.
I'm just going on what he told me.
I-
so
that's what I said. You got to go hang out. You got
it's,
to do a little
it's
bit more.
okay, but it's an hour or less. I mean, I was raised in the Catholic Church, so I'm used to blue jeans, $5, 1 hour, and you're out.
Nice.
You know, like
Exactly right.
I don't want to be in there
That's
all
what I
day.
said.
I'm not trying to resurrect the dead, and I don't want to have to pay 13 different, collections. So I am. I'm gonna go back.
Well, if I wasn't convinced that we accept weed smelling congregation members, I'm definitely convinced
Right
with
there
the
for you, man.
45-minute service.
And you know, your teeth was all fucked up.
Yes.
Pastor Barry's missing a tooth. That's right up your alley.
Hey, toothless
Charlie.
people get a lot done.
Oh my God.
All right. So listen, gonna end this here with some negative news, and the negative news is
Realistic.
brought to
news.
you by ADR, who's overseeing more than $250 million in private and public construction projects. So let's get some money raised to fix his roof because it is a jewel. It's absolutely a jewel. Church of the Messiah. ADR, reduce your costs, increase your bottom line. Experts in procurement, government compliance, and information technology. Call Barry Ellentuck at 248-318-9424 for a consultation. Get the job done right on time, on budget. ADR 248-318-9424. Just a little truthful negative news. The Tigers fucking suck. The summer sucks already. Chrissy Illich, sell the fucking club. They're 2-7. They've got the bottom third of payroll in the Major League Baseball. Okay? Two guys take up half the payroll, Miguel Cabrera and Javier Baez. They've got 9 hits between them in 15 games.
Wow.
Two guys, 9 hits in 15 games.
Sounds like good work if you can
What
get
a
it.
joke. Okay, so I did some digging. Tiger Stadium, Comerica Park. Oh, I built that. You didn't build any such fucking thing. Depends who you believe. Anywhere between 40 to 70% of the stadium's cost was paid for by us. But Chrissy gets to keep all the hot dogs, all the parking, all the jerseys, all the vending, all the tickets. It's a joke. Now, Forbes lists the value of the club at $1.4 billion. $250 million of that value is the stadium that he doesn't own, but he got locked down for $1 a year.
Wow.
And I'm getting a 2-7 start, right? All of 24 guys making $50 million, and one has been and one bullshit dude making the other $50 million.
A cold pizza.
Fuck you, Chris. Man, what you fooling, dude? It's over.
Say before it even gets started.
Yeah, it's cold.
How was opening day? Did you go?
Hell no.
Okay, I was just asking.
But I listen on the radio because I love Dan Dickerson.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I was down here for opening day, and it seemed as many drunk fans as year before last. I may be wrong, but a little more tamer this year. I think.
Sell the club. They're
couldn't-
garbage.
couldn't-
Can't hit a
couldn't.
fastball.
Maybe you should try out.
Yeah, I was going to do that with the Lions.
But what happened?
Matt Millen got fired. I did. I went and saw Matt Millen. It was, I got back in like 2008. I went to him. It was like 75th anniversary of the Lions and the 40-year anniversary of Paper Tiger. George Plimpton, the participatory journalist, got to go to preseason. He played 4 plays, lost 28 yards. He was very bad. So I'm like, I would like to do that. And Millen said the rules have changed. Only so many guys get to come to preseason, but you can go to rookie camp. I'm like, fuck, this is going to be fucking great. It was all settled. Then they went 0-16. He was out on his ass, and I never got to do it. And now
And you got some history, some experience. We've seen footage of you
Of him
playing
playing
football.
Yeah.
I used to do it till my knees went out.
But Charlie, you should. Hey, you can be a walk-on. Get some of those millions and
How
help
can
get
I
a new
walk
roof
on
for
when
the
I'm
church.
limping? When I'm limp, I can barely get out of bed.
Well,
in the morning.
if nobody's hitting the ball, you won't be running anyway, so it doesn't
Right.
matter.
I'd like to throw out a pitch. I can at least get it
Yeah,
to
you
the
could do
plate.
that.
Curveball.
Or something. That would be
Yeah.
great. Why not? Try
Sell
it.
the club,
and
Chris.
so the Pistons are going to have a new
Suck.
coach. I know, but
Another team we're
Casey's
paying
out.
for. Yeah, he's out.
Yeah,
he
he's
should
out.
be out. They're garbage.
who's
oh,
next?
the rebuild. They won 17 games.
Their marketing is horrible.
The Wings blow. Oh, we're in a rebuild. They just traded everybody. Now, come on, man.
Well, there has to be a professional slot on one of those
Fucking
4
guy
teams
making
for
money
you
up
and
his
Brad.
Ass.
Somewhere.
His ass. Barry's over there without a tooth, a leak in the roof.
Well,
This motherfucker milking the whole neighborhood.
I will say this though, Charlie. You can go to their website. I believe there's a donate button, and I did drop
The
a check.
Tigers?
I did no, the church.
He'll
and
bring
I
the salary
and I
cap
did
up.
take a check from us to start the ball rolling.
Karen. In the
Yes,
spirit of secret, you're not supposed to tell people you donated, buddy.
I can tell people I do.
You
I
can
want
do
to
whatever
give my
the fuck
money.
you want. You're liberated. You live right next to 4820 die. Did we look that up during the that's right. It's a good thing I did bet.
Charlie
This is
was
from the
right.
man
Hey,
who
but
cannot stand to be wrong.
I know, but you were right, and I apologize. But I was correct coming down here. 48214-0726. I got that right.
I hate to be wrong.
It's okay.
I hate to be spreading stuff that's not correct.
And I
That's what
I
makes the
appreciate
show
that.
what it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
fine.
true.
So I was wrong. I was
Oh,
wrong.
you're so wrong.
I don't work
So
for the
many
post
levels.
office.
I don't have a
know.
zip code for the Normandy. It's just the Normandy.
No, is that Detroit or is that Highland Park?
Technically, it's Detroit.
It's Detroit.
It's
So it's-
one
'cause it's
block.
this side, right?
It
It's
sits
one,
on the border of
right.
Highland
It's one
Park.
block south of.
Yep.
Okay, all right, that's
Definitely
fine.
Detroit.
And the police don't show up either way, Detroit or Highland Park. So it doesn't really matter.
Speaking of which, get ready, Lansing. I'm coming this week with my lawyer. Part 2. Check out Karen's column in the Detroit News tomorrow. What's it about, Karen?
Tomorrow it is about the Tuskegee Airmen, the museum, and Brian Smith, who is the president and CEO. Quite impressive gentleman. And
Christ, you should be working for Crades,
why?
profiling CEOs.
No, this guy's from the Tuskegee Airmen Museum. It's not that. It's just they just got $500,000 scholarship from the Federal Aviation Commission. What is it? FCC administration, because they want to encourage.
Didn't you
young
you
people.
wrote the column?
I know, but my mind. I'm done with that column. My mind is somewhere else now. I don't hold on
She
to
called
stuff
it
like
the FEC.
I was thinking FCC and FAA, and I got them mixed up.
DEA, CIA, whatever, man.
So
If
that's
it ain't
what that's.
WEED, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
Charlie, I don't feel well. I miss my Caribbean beach. I need to go back. I'm tired. I'm
Did
sorry.
you just get back?
That's
Yes,
great.
but
That's
I think
great.
I need to go
Nothing
back.
like the audience listening to a tired host. That's great.
Hey, I'm here, doggone it.
Yeah, and it's a holiday.
And I'm giving you 200%.
Yes, you are. Thank you
Yes.
for that. And that's Tuesday. Can't miss Detroit News. Karen Dumas.
And you're on Wednesday.
Wednesday, I will give you part 2 of the anatomy of a mass murder. Why Anthony McRae was allowed to wander around when they caught him with a loaded piece. Outrageous. Red, you'll be working on your new job.
Congratulations.
What is that new job again?
Talking about my Peace Thursday or the custodial job. I'll be working on Detroit's sustainability.
You're in the new Detroit Sustainability Czar.
Yes. I'm
So the
new
mayor's
czar.
hired you.
Yes.
No, but
Not
you're trying
really.
out.
We're going to submit an audition tape.
All right, that's it.
Oh, God.
We'll see you Thursday. Try to love one another. Look at you, Mike. Seamless. Oh, that was nice. Are you getting that, Matt? Okay, beautiful. Next piece.
Yeah, very good.